Hey, this is Coach Clem, and today I'm receiving a special guest for one of my little interview series. So, welcome, Kerry. It's amazing to have you today.
Hello, it's so nice to be here. Thank you.
Oh, I'm very excited to have Kerry on board, and we're going to hear about all about what she does. So, she specifically works with men on breakup, on divorce, on their relationship, and helping them to create like a new chapter for them. And as you know, the majority of my clients tend to be more women. So I think this is going to be a very, very interesting conversation and will maybe bring to the table things that are quite different. But first, Kerry, could you tell us more about you and can you introduce yourself a bit further?
Yes, so I am 54 this month and I am a breakup and divorce coach. I've been doing that for almost a year now. I think the age thing is important because it shows that you can get to later in life and reinvent yourself completely. Because until very recently, I worked in waste management for 20 years.
Hmm.
So I think it's really important that women realize that, you can be unhappy in life and you can completely turn it around and start and do something completely different.
Yeah.
Um, I decided to be a divorce coach because I've been divorced twice. So I thought, I know what I'm talking about. And I live with my wonderful family and love life.
Excellent. Oh, great. And yeah, it's clear that, the impact that you're having and the help that you're bringing to the table is making a big, big difference.
I hope
So
so.
obviously you're mentioning your personal experience of
Mhm.
having experienced divorce personally. So what do you bring to the table that maybe you wish you didn't have at the time? Can you tell us about the way you work with your clients?
I think what I bring to the table is stability and someone in their corner.
Yeah.
So when I started coaching, I used to coach by the hour. And I found no disrespect to other coaches, but for me, it turned into just a bit of a chat. And we didn't seem to get anywhere. And I think it's really important when men are going through breakups and divorces that they like an end destination, that they
Mm,
know where they're going.
mm,
So what I do is I have something called the rebuild program, and we start with a very, very definite plan.
yeah.
Now, I will decide what I think the plan is, and then I will run it by my client because we all make assumptions and we're usually wrong. And then we plan together the 12-week program, and that has a very definite beginning, middle, and an end destination of where that client wants to see themselves in 12 weeks' time.
Mm,
12 weeks actually isn't that long,
yeah. It goes quickly, doesn't it?
very quickly. Yeah,
Mm.
very.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the way you mentioned, obviously, breakup and divorce, but it seems like you're very, very focused on the transformation,
Yes.
on what happened next? How do we rebuild ourselves after
Mhm.
such a major event? Could you tell us a bit more maybe about that?
Yeah, I'm very passionate that people don't need to reinvent themselves.
Mm,
They need to rebuild who they are.
yeah.
And you do tend to lose sight of who you are during a divorce, I think. I think
Mm,
it's a grief process, whether it was your decision or not.
mm,
And it's hard to come out the other side intact sometimes. There's
yeah,
the financial problems, problems with maybe not seeing your children as much.
yeah,
There's a lot to take on board, there's a lot to unpack. And I help people process that transformation and come out the other side,
yeah.
hopefully stronger, better, and feeling more positive about the future.
Mm, yeah, I love that. And through the process of working with you, they're going to feel more themselves, right? Like it's not
Yeah,
about, like you said, like becoming someone that we're not, but like coming back to actually who we
that's right.
actually are. Yeah,
Coming back to who you are, who you want to be,
yeah,
not feeling that you have to turn yourself into what other people want to be. It's really
mm,
important, I think, that you're true to who you are and who you want to be.
mm,
If you want to change, that's great, but that's got to be your choice.
yes, yeah. To be your agenda and on your terms. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have any insights or tips of how to, because obviously this is, I've been through a really big breakup after 8 years, but never a divorce. But I can imagine how, and most of the time, it's very traumatic, right? So you've
Hmm.
got to be holding on to something so you don't collapse, right? So
Yeah.
Can you share about like maybe in your own experience, but also people you work with? How do we, like, because obviously we're going to be shaken. It's going to be a storm. How do we survive the storm, and how do we maybe rebound after that?
I think it's baby steps. I think it's
Mm,
very difficult sometimes because we want to do everything at once. We want to feel better overnight. And who doesn't? If you feel bad, why would you want to feel bad? But you need to take baby steps. You need to just break it down. I'm a very old-fashioned lover of a list. I will have a list for everything. Make a list, about what you need to do, where you want to be. Just break it down into little steps. It
mm,
makes things so much more achievable. You can
mm.
tick things off. You can think, yeah, I've done this.
Yeah.
Whether it's contacting your solicitor, contacting the ex-partner, just honestly, baby steps, that's the way to go.
Mm. Okay, that's really good. I love your approach, and I think this connects to the next question. You seem to have a very like sort of down to earth,
Mm.
transparent, like easy to understand approach, and you're making things like simpler or easier. That's how it feels, and I wonder if there's a connection to the way you post on LinkedIn and how you share about yourself, and you're
Mhm.
very true, very honest, and yeah, would you say that's something that sort of is a characteristic of how you work, how you are?
I think so. I'm very, what you see is what you get.
Mm, mm,
The way I post on LinkedIn, for anybody who's seen my posts, I'm very honest. I'm very honest. There's nothing I don't share, really. I've had my struggles recently and they're all out there. And I think it's important that people are honest. Social media is full of the glossiness, the
yeah,
celebrityness, everything's perfect. It's not perfect.
no,
People aren't perfect. There's tragedy and trauma behind a lot of doors. And we need to recognize that, and we need to realize that perfection doesn't exist.
it's
It's
amazing.
okay not to be perfect, and it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfection is just an illusion, isn't it? Keeping
Hmm.
us in that
Definitely.
loop of like chasing, and I feel that this is crucial, particularly for what you do, because we're talking about a divorce, a moment where we're not going to feel that life is pretty, and and the fact that people are going to see that you're being authentic and you're sharing,
Hmm.
the realness of it, the light, the shadow, all of it. I think for me, this is amazing to build trust and to go, this person is not going to BS me, right?
Yeah.
This person is real.
Yeah, I think so. I think there is the possibility that it could backfire on me. I've been, like I say, very honest with my struggles recently, and some people may think, well, that's not the coach for me. If she struggles, how can she teach me not to struggle? But I think it's important that the people that you work with have lived that experience.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been divorced twice. The second one was very traumatic.
Mm.
I came from a very abusive marriage. And I think it's important that people know that having lived that experience, I've lived it. I know how to get out the other side. I've got a fabulous life now. And it shows people that it is possible.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I think what you're sharing as well about the other aspects of life, because obviously your current challenges are not around divorce,
Hmm.
and that's something that you've been able to solve, but it doesn't mean like life is not gonna throw at us other things, but because we
Oh,
have
no.
the tools as well with
Hmm.
the coaching, it becomes a way to live, but there is no point whatsoever in denying what's here, and in the pretending, and I think a lot of people they're sick of that, right? They're sick of they want real, they want authentic.
I think so. I think we've gone from wanting perfection or wanting to
Mm,
see people who are perfect to
mm,
wanting people who are authentic.
yeah,
And I get a lot of personal messages on LinkedIn from people who say, you've helped me address my struggles, you've helped me address my demons,
yeah,
and thank you. And it's really I'm really passionate that even in that way I'm helping people
exactly.
just to see that you can struggle and you can be happy and you can come out the other side.
Yeah, and things are more, more complex in life than rather than only like sort of black and white.
Yeah.
And yeah, and if people have any doubts about this approach, I mean, they should check out the number of followers, and I think that speaks for itself. If people didn't want to follow you. So
Yeah.
That's what matters at the end of the day. Like you say, like if they resonate, they wanna, they that's helping them. It's cathartic for them, isn't it?
I think so. I think people get up in the morning, they've got their struggles, they've got their demons, and they feel alone.
Yeah,
People feel alone when they're struggling. And if you look on LinkedIn and you scrolling through and you see me saying, yeah, I've had my problems and I'm solving them, it makes people feel that they're not alone.
exactly, exactly. And I think it's also more constructive in the sense of, um, you're not alone facing that. There's not necessarily something wrong with you, and also there are some things that you can do that can help you. For example,
Definitely.
reaching out, coaching, etc., sharing, and acknowledging sometimes, and just becoming honest with yourself in terms of where you're at and what your situation is. I think this is a very often a first step. I don't know if you would agree.
Also, always the first step. I
Yeah,
think acknowledging that you've got a problem is always the first step.
yeah,
You can't get help and you can't change who you are
mm,
if that's what you want to do.
mm,
If it's not for you, you have got to be in that mindset. I have a drink problem. It took me a long time to recognize that I have a drink problem and to hold my hand up and say, this needs to stop.
mm,
And I tried lots of times before, but the heart wasn't in it.
mm,
You've got to want to change.
yeah,
And it's really important that people see other people making that change. And once they do, they know they're not alone and they know there's other people out there who can be there for them.
exactly, exactly, and things that they can try, and
Yeah.
but also being gentle and respectful of our own timeline, like you were saying too. It's like, okay, uh, sometimes there's a little bit of patience, and we keep like trying, we keep trying, we keep trying, and we find out what the
Mhm.
way that works for us. Yeah.
That's right. Sometimes I think you can try not to drink or to have relationship problems or to
Mm.
attract the wrong partner. It's it will come eventually, and when it comes, you grab it with both hands and you run with it.
Yeah. Great, cool. So obviously, prior to this recording, we put out a post on LinkedIn asking for
Mhm.
people to suggest some questions to you. So this is one of them. Have you observed differences in how men and women tend to think, decide, reason, or behave? Particularly in this person was particularly interested in business context, but I might guess that it could apply to in general.
Yeah.
And if yes, have you seen like some patterns or recurring themes?
I think in business, I was in waste management for 20 years in the corporate world. I don't think there is a lot of difference. I think there's the generalization, maybe,
Mm,
that men and women are very different in business. And I don't think that's the case. I think
interesting.
you get some lovely men who are really soft and gentle in business and not hard-nosed businessmen. And on the same sort of approach, you have women who are very hard-nosed and very passionate and
Yeah.
not terribly nice to work with.
Mm.
You get good people, bad people, men, women. I don't think sex is a decider in that.
Ah, that's really interesting. Great to hear that. Yeah, fascinating. Do you experience other differences that you would say, like maybe in the way with the approach with divorce and with relationships?
Mm.
Do you see some patterns, or is it more like of an individual? Again, like it depends of the kind of person that everything exists.
I think women find it easier to talk. They have
Mm,
typically friends that they will talk to and share
mm,
everything with.
yeah,
Again, that's a generalization,
yeah,
but from the market research that I've done, and that's definitely been the case, that they will confide in friends.
mm,
Men, not so much. Men are scared that their friends will tell them to man up. There's plenty more fish in the sea,
yeah,
and they're a lot less likely to maybe go to their friends, talk about what the problem is, because they see it almost as a failure.
yeah.
Now, again, generalization, but women tend to open up more, men tend to stay a bit more closed, which is why I do what I do.
That is very interesting. And that's quite connected to our next question again, that was from the post. Have you found, um, what have you found to be the biggest unspoken challenge men face when they're trying to rebuild their lives, especially when they don't necessarily always have the words to express what they're feeling?
I think men do have the words,
Yeah.
they just don't necessarily want to use them. They
Mm,
know how they feel, but
mm,
they've maybe been brought up to be the strong one,
yeah,
the provider, the person who is there for everybody else.
yeah.
They're not used to maybe sharing their feelings.
Uh-huh.
But trust me, once you get a man talking, they don't stop.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So Is there something that's a bit different in the way that you make them feel that they can share? What's the secret potentially to the fact that they will open up, let's say, in a session with you, but with friends and family, maybe they're not going to necessarily know what's going on for
I
them?
think one of the big things that I do is take the pressure off and just say, well, look, we'll just have a chat. No
Yeah,
pressure. 30-minute chat, no charge. You've got nothing to lose.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
come along, join the team's call, and we'll just talk. If you want to talk about football or the weather, that's what we'll do. They never do. They
no,
always go straight into what the problem is
yeah,
because that's what they want to solve.
yeah,
Ultimately, nobody wants to feel bad. People don't want to feel rubbish.
yeah.
You know, once they sit down on the team's call and we get talking, men will open up. It's very rare that they don't.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I suppose you could say, well, they wouldn't join a call if they weren't willing to open up, and that's true. But I have had people who said, Kerry, this isn't going to work. I can't talk. And they do. They do.
Mm. That's extraordinary. I think they might have a gift as well to sort of access, and again with this down to earth and just like, right, I'm honest. You know stuff about me.
That helps. That
Share
does
it.
help, you know.
Mm,
People know a lot about me. They only have to go through my old posts and they'll find out stuff that you wouldn't know about your best friend necessarily.
mm, mm, mm.
And I think they think, well, I know about her. I can talk to her about me.
Yeah,
It's almost like they know me.
yeah, and they're not going to be. They feel and they're not going to be judged, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm in no position to judge.
yeah, which is amazing to like to just make one comfortable. Another one of these questions that we had was how can we better help? So this was particularly from a woman's point of view. How can we better help men ask for help when many men have been taught, their whole life that they should not be asking for help and they should not need it.
I think it's making it the norm.
Mm,
I think it's letting men know that it's okay not to be okay.
mm,
Um, it's okay to struggle and it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to keep asking for help until you feel better. And we need to keep reinforcing that with men.
yeah,
I just launched Team Rebuild, which is a community for men, which actually launches on the 30th of March. It's a peer community and an online support with monthly coaching. And what that will do, it will give men the opportunity in their own time to talk and open up without any pressure.
that's excellent. Yeah, I really like that. And again, that connects back to the way that you're sharing, right? And you're leading by example and going, right, okay, if I had no struggle, I will not be sharing my struggles, but there's this, and this is what I'm doing, and this is how I'm working on it.
Yeah,
Not like poor me, and but the realness of, right, okay, this is another thing that's been thrown at me, and this is what I'm doing with it, but I'm not hiding it or pretending it's not there.
no.
I'm not denying.
Hiding it won't make it disappear.
Mm,
We all have our poor me moments.
mm,
I have an expression, you can live here for a day and feel sorry for yourself, but you can't live here forever. You get one day. You get
mm,
one day to feel
mm,
sorry for yourself and give in to it. Then the next day you get up. You don't live there.
mm. And then you take action, and
Yeah.
with those baby steps again, maybe
With
we
the
go
baby
back to
steps.
that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, the program as well sounds incredible. Um, Before we go to maybe asking about where they can find out more information for our
Mhm.
listeners to find more information about how to work with you, how to get in touch, can you share with us some of the mindset breakthroughs that maybe have changed your life previously, one breakthrough, maybe several breakthroughs, moments that were just like cornerstones?
I think a few months into the coaching, it occurred to me that I should do some market research. Now, I should have done that when I started, but I didn't. And I assumed that I knew what I was doing. And the market research proved that yes, I did, and no, I didn't. And that was a major breakthrough moment for me. So it reaffirmed some things that I was right about, and it confirmed things that I was wrong about. And that's where Team Rebuild has come from. It's a community that the men that I spoke to on the market research, it was their idea and they've helped me build it.
Excellent. So that came from the feedback
Yes,
of the
it
people
did.
you spoke to. All
It
right.
was very much one-to-one coaching is fantastic. Not everybody wants it, not everybody can afford it. especially when they're going through a divorce.
Yeah.
And they wanted peer support. They wanted support from men who were going through the same thing at the same time. And that's how we built Team Rebuild.
Wow. No, this is so cool. So obviously, for someone who's listening to that and going, right, okay. So there's several options. Obviously, there's the discovery call that you talked about. Yeah. And getting more information. So tell us more about what you would say if someone has
So
been really
if some
resonating,
yeah,
what do they do?
someone wants to find out how to work with me,
Mm,
I would say go to the website
mm,
kerryfarrell.co.uk and make an inquiry, and I'll come right back to you. We do a 30-minute discovery call. We talk about what's going on in your life, and you get to decide whether I'm the right fit for you, because not all coaches are the right fit for everybody.
mm.
And then if we're the right fit, then we go on to work together. Team Rebuild is a free platform. And like I said, we launched on March 30th, and you can access that again via the website.
Wonderful. Great. Obviously, LinkedIn also is a great place to find you. I
I'm
will
always on LinkedIn.
I will put all the links on the description of the episode so that we can access them easily. And yeah, and I think the discovery call is always a great place to start. And another question popped into my head. So if let's say men are listening to us and they're not necessarily in a breakup situation or in a divorce, but maybe the relationship is rocky, or maybe there's something else going on with them. Is this still okay for them to reach out to you? Yeah.
Definitely. I work with men who either have relationship struggles
Mm,
or who know that the relationship is coming to an end,
mm.
and they want to get a bit ahead of the game, and they want to start working with somebody before they make that decision and
Yeah.
make that call that it's now over. And that sounds a bit cold and calculated, but it's important that men have the support the same as a woman would.
Of course, absolutely. I mean, if it comes to an end, like you say, it's
Yeah.
yeah, I've experienced it too. It's not necessarily bad in the long run, even though you
No.
go through a difficult phase, but it's possibly also necessary in some cases, which is also a reality. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important that if you're going to split up, you know where you stand and what the future looks like. And I help people with that every day.
Yes. Well, you are amazing. This has been really, really good. I like your style. I think your style it's got a little bit of is snappy the right word? I'm trying to say there's an energy that goes quickly, like, and I can tell, I'm sure in the coaching that things are, like firing up and that you get to the bottom of things quickly
Yeah.
with again this down to earth approach. But it feels to me like a very effective way of working. So yes,
I get to the bottom of things quickly because people deserve to be happy. And the
mm,
quicker you get to the bottom of the issue, the happier people are.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
get to the bottom of the problem, resolve it, and get people out the other side happier and stronger.
And move on. Yeah, totally. Great, cool. So we'll be obviously looking out for the lounge. So that's going to be very exciting.
Hmm?
It's your birthday as well, did you say this month?
It's my birthday next week, next
Next week.
Tuesday.
Next
Yes, the
Tuesday,
big 54.
right. Okay, we'll look out for that too then. And thank you again so much for your amazing insights, Kerry.
Thank you.